Welcome in another important video in our React.js course. I hope you all are doing great. So here in this video we will see what is lazy loading in React.js and how lazy loading helps to improve performance of any React application. So let's take an example. Here we have refcomp.js file and we are importing one child component inside of ref component. So in this particular situation, until this entire heading reference component gets loaded, our ref component will not be able to load in user interface. So now in our case, this is not a problematic thing because our heading reference is doing minimal operations. It will get load immediately. But let's imagine the situation where you have your child component and your child component is doing a lot of operations and it is kind of slow. So in that case, ref component will have to wait until this entire component will get load. So in that case, your user interface will be completely white until all these operations will get done, which is certainly not good for improving performance. But if we load this component little bit late, it will still work same and it will not break any functionality. So at least user will get to see something on user interface and he will not feel like there is nothing in the website. To implement this, we'll have to use React lazy loading technique. Now using React lazy loading, we can import or we can load any component dynamically. What does this mean is, let's create one folder inside of our working directory. Let's say lazy comp. And let's close all of the files. Okay, let me create one component inside of this. Let's say lazy one.js and let me create another component with the name parent.js. Okay, let's put class component, same with another component. Okay, so now we have these two components. Now we want to load component lazy1 into component parent. So let's import it from lazy1 and let's keep separate name for this. Let's say lazy1 or let's say lazy comp, and we can import it like this: lazy comp. Okay, so let's put one heading tag, hello world. Okay, and let's put one heading tag here. So instead of putting just heading tag, let's display some list inside of this component. So here I have a list of some images which we will try to display in our lazy component. So we are trying to make it hard to load and we want to make such a component which is taking more time to load. So let's declare this data in one data variable, and now we can use this data to display all these properties. So let's create one division. Let's say class card, and we don't want this heading tag anymore. And in order to traverse through this data list, we'll have to put data.map, and we can use normal map function. After that, we'll have to return something from this map. So let's put a return just like this. Okay, and now inside of this card we we want to show image. So src will be item dot product URL or product image URL, and let's put width to 200 and height to 300. Okay, and let's put simple description, which will be product name, okay, and let's see what we get in the output. But we have to use this parent component inside of our index.js file, so we have to import it again. Okay, so let's see what we get in the output. If I refresh this, so here we have list of few products. Okay, and this is coming from our parent component. But currently we are using normal React.js syntax to import our child component into our parent component. This is not the lazy loading. Now let's try to implement and try to load this lazy one component dynamically. So here is the documentation of lazy loading concept. So we'll have to import React.lazy, and this is the syntax what they are suggesting us to use. So let me quickly copy this, and we just have to rename this, and rest of the things will remain same. So here they are using React.lazy, which is function, and inside of it we are passing one callback as a parameter. We are getting one parameter, and with this way we'll be able to load component dynamically. If I save this and refresh our server again, so as you can see here, we got one error saying that above error occurred because in your React component, and this is giving us error. Now this is all happening because we are loading that component in UI before it actually got imported in this component. So now in order to remove this error, we'll have to use React.suspense. Now this suspense will help our component to wait until entire UI get load, to wait until component get load. So we can put this surrounded by the entire component. And let's not use anything in fallback for now. Let's save this and refresh our page again. Okay, so this fallback accepts normal HTML or JSX. So let's put loading text here, and instead of using it as a wrapper, we can put it inside of our division tag. Now let's refresh this again. So JSX was failing to load. because of this React Suspense got closed immediately, which is not expected. If I refresh this again, so they cannot find this lazy comp function because its name is lazy1. So let's rename this. So let's change this name. So as you can see, we got our expected user interface. So now we have to put key for each list item, which we can do inside of lazy1 function. And let's put comma index, and we'll have to simply use key is equal to index. So I refresh this, so that error has gone, and we can rename class by class name. As of now we are not using it, so we can remove it. If I refresh this, so our code is completely error free. So now if I refresh this, you can observe for small time loading text is there. So this is all because of lazy loading. So this loading is coming from fallback, which we have declared in React Suspense. So now this is not observable. We'll have to change our internet speed, which we can do it inside of network, and we have to make our internet speed to 2G to see all these changes. So let's put slow 3G. So now it is more observable. So this is an example of how we can load any component dynamically in React.js. So let's quickly recap this. Here we have created one parent component and we have created one child component. So we want to load this child component dynamically in our parent component. So in order to import it dynamically, we can use React.lazy method, and we have to put wrapper around it, which is React.suspense. Although we have wrapped heading tag inside of React.suspense, but it is not necessary if we can put our heading tag outside of it, because it is not dependent on this lazy comp. So if I save this and refresh it again, let me show it to you again. So this hello world is still there. Doesn't matter even if our lazy component is not loaded. So we can change throttling. So we can keep this speed lower, and let me refresh it again. So if I refresh this, so we are expecting hello world, and hello world is there even if our lazy loading component is not loaded. So with this way we can load any component in React.js dynamically. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.